In this video, we'll demonstrate viewing the contents of a Vitech GENESYS repository using the Syndeia Standalone client in the Syndeia 3.6 release. GENESYS is a model-based systems engineering tool incorporating requirements, architecture, analysis, and test. As usual, we will launch the Syndeia Standalone client from the syndeia.bat file we have set up. The first screen shows the projects which I have permission to access. Review the videos in Part 1 Introduction for the general functionality of this standalone client. When I select a project, I will only be able to see the intermodel relations that are part of that project. Plus, I will need the relation write permission for that project to add new connections. The project list is paginated, and I can click the cloud icon to display more projects. I will select the UAS03 project, which will remain the active Syndeia project until we close the standalone client session. On the Repository Manager tab, we see the GENESYS category heading, which may have one or more repository connections under it already. If we need to add an additional repository, we right-click the heading, select Add, enter the URL and our user account name and password, see your GENESYS admin for those, create a name for the connection, and click OK. If we need to add or update my credentials on an existing repository connection, right-click on it, select Update, enter username and password, and click Update. If the connection is successful, select it to see the contents of the repository in the right panel, arranged as a tree. At the top is the repository, GENESYS at Intercax in this case. Next level down is Project, a container in the Syndeia data model. There are two projects in this example. Below the project level are components and requirements. As always, the repository contents have been drawn directly from the GENESYS repository as the tree is expanded. They are not stored permanently by Syndeia. You can right-click an item to refresh the contents. The return of the results is also paginated. The cloud icon with Fetch More will appear at the bottom of the list if there are more elements to be returned. Click on the plus symbol to fetch more. Intramodel relations between GENESYS elements are also visible in the tree. Component sys.1.11 can be expanded to show the built-from relationship to its 5 parts. Similarly, requirement 1.6.1 expands to show its refines relationship to the higher-level requirement 1.6. More information about the GENESYS data model is available in the API Overview documentation in the Syndeia web dashboard. Video 30.2 in this series will demonstrate creating and viewing reference connections to GENESYS elements through the Syndeia Standalone client.